everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video I wanted to go over some items that I've received over the past few months from the subscription service Glossybox. With these kind of monthly beauty subscriptions, it is a surprise. You never know what you're going to receive other than maybe one product that they've done a sneak peek of the month before, and I've always found that a lot of these subscriptions can definitely be very hit or miss. Some months are good, some months are bad, some months are just kind of okay. So what I did is I went back through and had a look at all the items that I'd received from Glossybox since re-signing up in November, and I pulled together my top 5 and bottom 5 of the items that I've received. The only items that are included in this are items that I still have in my collection. For the items that are kind of in the worst category are ones that have probably been thrown in the back of a drawer, or I've just not got around to decluttering them yet. Obviously the best ones are ones that I'm still enjoying using or have actually finished up. The items that aren't included in this list are anything that I have passed on to someone or put in a giveaway without even trying. Quite a few of my giveaways do consist of a lot of items that I've received in subscription boxes that aren't for me. So there are items that I've received from Glossybox which someone may have liked, but I've not tried them, so I obviously didn't want to put them in the worst category because I haven't even given them a chance. I just didn't think they would be me, so pass them on. So these are all items that have been kind of tried and tested. What I will do is start with the worst products so that we can end on a high note. I think what I'm actually going to do is kind of rank within the bottom 5 as well. So I will start with the item that I didn't like but is just like okay, going up to the item that's probably the worst I've tried out of all of these. Starting with this Dr. Paw multi-purpose balm. This isn't a bad product, it's just not my personal preference. This says it's for lips, cheeks and cosmetic finishing, whatever that means, with a hint of tint. It took me a lot of time to actually get around to using this because when I opened it up and squeezed out and seeing that the liquid was actually hot pink, I thought it was going to be a hot pink tint and didn't think it was going to be for me. If I rub it into my hand, it does sheer down. But as you can see, it is still quite pink. It's not hot pink, but it's still pretty pink. And that is more than I would like to apply on my cheeks. Plus, I'm not a big fan of liquid blush anyway. I have only used this as a lip balm and I'm not a big fan of it. It's too pink on my lips first of all, because my lips are quite pigmented. So this plus the pigment on my lips is just too pink. And I don't like the feel of it. It is very slip slidey, and I know balms are kind of like that anyway, but this is also sticky and I prefer a balm that is just very moisturising. I don't like them to be kind of slippy and sticky in any way, so this just isn't for me. I do think there is an untinted version of this which I might like a bit more because it's not got the pink colour, but I say I'm not a huge fan of the consistency. It's not awful, I've definitely tried worse, but yeah, this one wasn't for me. Next we have the Super Duper Body Butter. This one was the Fruity Green Tuberose one. This wasn't a bad moisturiser, I just didn't really like the scent. That's probably the main thing about it. I love the size that you got, it is a really good size and it would definitely last a long time. I've used this quite a lot of times and it looks like I've barely scratched the surface. So you do get a lot in it, it is quite weighty, but it's just that smell. It says it comes with baobab, macadamia oils, pineapple and passion fruit. So when I seen pineapple and passion fruit, I thought it would be quite nice, but to me, I kind of get a green tea scent from it, and to me green tea doesn't smell that nice. It is kind of like sagey and just, it's a bit too herby for me. It does say it's from 97% natural ingredients, which is obviously a good thing. With regards to how it performs, it was nice and moisturising, but I didn't feel like my skin stayed moisturised for that long. It did go back to my sort of normal dryness not long after. It also did in some areas of my skin kind of pill up slightly. I don't know if that was to do with the other, maybe to do with my shower gel or something, I'm not too sure, but it didn't really agree with the other items in my skincare routine, and the smell did kind of linger after applying it, so it just wasn't for me. Then we have another moisturiser, and this is the Palmer's Cocoa Butter Solid Moisturiser. I knew there was going to be a couple of moisturisers in this worst category because I am quite lazy when it comes to moisturising, so I don't tend to reach for a body butter overly. I do tend to prefer like an in-shell moisturiser or something like that. So I always knew that I was never going to highly rate these products, but I wanted to try them to give them a chance to see if I've kind of put a change in my routine. Again, problem with this one is the scent. I do have quite a sensitive nose when it comes to scents, and certain scents do give me headaches. This is one of them. Don't get me wrong, I love the smell of chocolate, but this is the smell of pure cocoa. It is just, it's so strong. It reminds me of when I was in, I think it was Prague. They had a beer bath place where you could go and get a bath either in a vat of chocolate or a vat of beer. And I remember we walked in to inquire about it because we were really intrigued, and the mixture of the smell of beer and chocolate was just so overpowering, and it's kind of stuck with me, and for some reason this smells like it. This doesn't have any beer in it as far as I'm aware, but I think it's because it's the smell of pure cocoa as opposed to chocolate, which I'm used to smelling, so it kind of gives me flashbacks of that, and it just gives me a headache. I'm just gonna put the lid back on. I've tried Palmer's Cocoa Butter in the past, and the actual, just the normal cream moisturiser doesn't smell as strongly as this does. I also found it was quite hard to get the product out because it is a solid balm. I do have to kind of rub and rub and rub, and I don't end up with that much on me. If I was just going to be applying it, say, on my face or something like that, it wouldn't be too bad. But to be able to apply it all over your body, it does take a lot of work to get enough products out to cover your skin. I would find myself moisturising half my legs and getting fed up, so it was a bit too much hard work. The scent wasn't great, and it does say 24-hour moisture, relieves rough and dry skin. Again, it wasn't the most moisturising. I didn't feel like it was very long lasting. I definitely didn't feel like it lasted 24 hours. If I put this on before I went to bed, my skin would just feel normal again the next day. So I didn't rate this one at all either. Then on to this, I can't pronounce it, Omara Visca, I'm going to go with. And this is a cleansing foam or face wash. And another one, don't like the scent. This to me smells like toilet cleaner. It doesn't say what the scent of it should be, but it's kind of citrus scented, and I use a lemon scented toilet cleaner, and it just, to me, smells like that. It's not overly foaming as well. It is just kind of a bit bubbly. Whenever I try a foaming product, because I use the Imperial Leather Foam Burst Shower Gel, that foams up like a shaving foam. So I always have that as my kind of comparison, when I know a lot of foaming products are just going to be slightly aerated as opposed to a full-blown kind of shaving gel consistency. But this just wasn't anything at all really. I'll put a bit on the back of my hand to get rid of this pink. So it comes out just in a whitish blue thing, and then I know I've not got any water on my hand, but it doesn't really have any air to it at all. It's not foaming in any way. Slight white lather to it, but not much more than any other liquid face wash that I've used. I use the e.l.f. like kind of milky face wash, and that gives more of a lather than this does, but this is actually advertised as a foam, so now I've got a really bad smell in my hand. I just don't rate it at all. I don't think it kind of does what it says in the tin, as well as not smelling very nice, and I just didn't feel very fresh faced after it. And I did need to use quite a bit of product as well to get a decent lather out of it, and also to make my face feel fresh and clean. I just couldn't rate this at all, and I think this was quite pricey. I think a full size of this was about £20, and I just can't spend that on a face wash. As I say, the e.l.f. one is the one I use, and that's £5, and that's more than enough for me to spend. I really wish I hadn't applied that on the back of my hand now, because it's all I can smell. The next product though might get that smell out my nose, and it's not a kind of product you would think that should smell. So my top worst product that I think I've ever received from Glossybox is this Bella Pierre Kiss Proof Lip Cream. I just did not like this at all. Apart from the shade looked really nice on for about 5 minutes, and then I tasted it and then I smelt it, and it was just, it's got such a weird scent to it. When you initially open it, you get a millisecond scent of kind of something fruity, but that just quickly dissipates to a very plasticky scent. When you apply it to your lips, that plasticky scent does not disappear, and it also, you can taste it. I know you're not supposed to eat your lipstick, but you can't help it when it's on your lips and you rub your lips together. You do get a taste of whatever your lipstick tastes of, and this just tastes so plasticky and like off plastic. I know plastic doesn't go off, so that's a really strange thing to compare it to, but it's just like bad plastic. It's just not good at all. It didn't last very long at all, and it didn't fade gracefully in the slightest. I found that I ended up with kind of like puckered lips where it goes a bit gross looking. It just really dried out my lips. I say the shade was nice. When I swatched it, I thought this is going to be a really nice shade. And when you do first apply it, it does look nice, but then when it starts to dry down, it just feels like it doesn't stop drying down for a long time, and you end up with zero moisture left in your lips. For it to advertise itself as a lip cream, I was thinking it was going to be a bit more moisturising, but I just don't find that it is at all. I'll say that it is kiss proof, and it does kind of stick around for a long amount of time, but not in a nice state. It doesn't last, in my opinion, it doesn't last long looking good. As soon as it is fully dried down, it already looks bad, in my opinion. So yes, at that point it probably is kiss proof, but then it just feel like it just gets drier and drier and more crustier, and you end up with like the little bits on the inner corner of your lips, and it's just not pretty at all. So yes, definitely this is probably the worst product since I've been resubscribed that I've tried from Glossybox. So now on to the positives and on to my top 5, and I think I'll do this in a similar format in that I will end on my favourite product I've received since re-signing up to Glossybox. So for my top 5, number 5 is this Nailberry nail varnish. This is a oxygenated nail varnish. I can't see I notice any difference between this and my other nail varnish. I don't get what the breathable aspect of it is, as it were. I don't feel like it lasts any longer, but I really do like the shades of this, and out of all my nail polishes that I do have, this is one of the more longer lasting ones. These are, I think, more kind of high end. I think these do retail for kind of £8 to £10 a bottle. For me, my go-to is Barry M for £5 a bottle. I don't think these are as good as Barry M with regards to longevity, but I'd say it is up there in all the different ones that I've tried. This is quite long lasting. I would actually say, out of all my nail varnishes that I've tried, my favourite is probably this one, which is Primark, and I think this was 50p a bottle. I think it was £1 full price, but I have about 3 different nail varnishes from Primark, and they are all so long lasting and really nice. So if you are looking for cheap nail varnish that lasts a long time, I would definitely recommend Primark nail varnish, on that side note. But I do really like this. It's a really nice colour. It's kind of my go-to pink in that it's not too pink, it's just like a muted pink. The shade is Love Me Tender. Can't remember if there's different variations of the shades that you receive, but I'm glad to have received this one because it is kind of up my alley. But I do really like this, and I do regularly apply it. Number 4 is this product from Advant, I think it is, and this is the Deluxe Hyaluronic Acid Vivifying Face and Eye Night Cream. I think this is the most expensive product I've ever received from Glossybox. If I remember rightly, this was around £80 or £90. This is 50ml, so this is a full size one, and I can't say I would run out there and buy it, even though I do like it. I do kind of ration myself with it because I don't want it to run out, because I do really enjoy using it. But I'm definitely never going to go out there and spend £90 on skincare. It's got a really nice fresh smelling scent to it, but that doesn't linger, which again, I appreciate being sensitive to smells. It is quite a thick consistency, but it does blend into the skin nicely, and it makes your skin feel nice and moisturised. And I do notice some plumping with this, and the next morning I still do notice that plumping having stuck around. It does make my skin feel moisturised, and again the next morning my skin does still feel nice and soft. As I say, I am rationing this, so I do tend to apply this if I know I've got, say, a big day out the next day and I want my skin to look at its best. I kind of do my primer the night before, and this is the night cream I'll put on the night before, so that when I come to do my makeup the next day, it's in its best possible state. I've paired this with numerous different things when I was trying it, but I found pairing it with a hyaluronic acid serum just made it perform that bit better, because it was even more hyaluronic acid, which is really good for moisturising your skin. But I would recommend it if you are someone who does enjoy high-end skincare and would happily spend that amount of money. I do recommend it. I will be sad when it runs out. I think I'm about halfway done at the moment. It is good though that a little does go a long way, but yeah, do really recommend this one. In at number 3 we have another item from Palmer's. This is the Natural Bronze Body Lotion. This surprised me to be here. I didn't get this that long ago. This is already empty. When I first got it, I did write it off and say we do false tan or gradual tan or anything like that. I haven't got the patience for it. I'm happy being pasty. When I received this was around about 2 weeks before I was going to a wedding, and I think I came into my room one night and just spotted it on the side because I think I'd not long filmed my unboxing and thought I'd just apply it just to give it a go, save me going rooting for my other moisturisers. I think I'd kind of forgot about the tanning element to it, so applied it to my legs, thought nothing of it, woke up the next day and was kind of doing double takes at my legs. Do they look a bit browner? Not enough to kind of notice, so then I thought, right, I'll apply this leading up to the wedding. I was wearing a shorter dress, so my legs were going to be on show. They were really pale, so I applied this. I think I finished up after getting about 5 uses out of it, but that was applying it from my whole leg, so kind of from hips down to my toes. I think I got 4 or 5 uses out of it, and it just gave me such a nice tan. Yes, it was gradual as it said it was, but it never went orange. I've used gradual tanners in the past. The main one that springs to mind is the Johnson's Holiday Skin, and I did find that that did end up looking false tanny. At one point I didn't think it was overly working until I noticed that I had the kind of telltale false tan thing on my wrist from where I've been applying it, so that's when I knew that it was showing colour, and it was that gradual, but it was nice and it was very natural looking. Yes, we have had a bit of sun here since, and I have sat in the sun, but I found that the colour did stick around. It didn't fade quickly, which was nice because it meant that I did have the colour not just for the wedding but kind of a few days afterwards, even after I'd finished applying it and I was washing my legs every day kind of thing. So I did really enjoy using this, and it would be something I would consider purchasing again. I do have another few weddings coming up over the next year or so, so I think if I am wearing a short dress again, I would definitely consider picking this up before the wedding just to take the edge off the paleness of my legs, unless I do get some natural tan on them in the meantime. With regards to the scent of this one, this smells really, really nice. It's coconut formula as opposed to this one, which is cocoa butter. I think the other variation you could have got would have been the cocoa butter, and I think I remember when I filmed the video I hadn't realised that those were the different variations. One was in like a white packaging and one was in this colour, and I thought this was a darker gradual tan, but when I went back and looked, I think one was the cocoa butter formula and then this is the coconut oil formula, and I definitely prefer the scent of this. This to me smells like kind of natural coconut, not like artificial coconut, like actual coconut. Like if you get, say for example, when you bake cakes and you have like, is it called desiccated coconut? When you open a bag of that and it just smells like proper fresh coconut, that's what this smells like. So it's not too overpowering and it doesn't linger, which is good again, but it's just a really nice fresh scent. So I would say I would recommend this, and I don't think it was overly expensive. I think the full size was maybe only about £5, so I would definitely purchase this again in the future. And on to number 2. This is the Imperial Leather Foam Burst Whipped Cream Body Wash. This is an item that we received in the last Glossybox in the month of August, and I've used this pretty much every day since trying it. It did take me a few days after filming the video to actually open it, but since then I've been using this every day and I absolutely love it. It is more expensive than the normal foam burst, but I think it can justify it because I do actually prefer it to the foam burst, and I've been using the original foam burst for years. I know it's the same brand and I know it's the same concept, but I didn't think I would ever not use that original foam burst. As you can see from the bubbles in the lid, it does have a habit of carrying on foaming once you've finished using it, so you do waste a little bit of product, but you get an awful lot of product in these cans anyway. See, this is only the 75ml, the full size is 200. I think I've still got over half of this left based on the feel of it, and I've used this a lot of times since first trying it. One of its main points is the scent. As we've already discussed, I am sensitive to smells, so something that's strong smelling I don't tend to like. This does have quite a strong scent to it, and the scent does linger, but I don't mind because I do really like it. It is golden amber and coconut oil, so kind of going back to this being coconut oil, so I knew I would like it in that sense, but I'm not too sure exactly what golden amber is, but it smells amazing. I think the best way to describe this, it's kind of perfumey slash aftershavey, but not too strong. When I did initially smell it, it did remind me of one of my husband's shower gels, but with that little bit of sweetness, which is obviously the coconut oil, which makes it smell a little bit more feminine. So it is, I would say, probably a unisex scent, but it probably would be more feminine on a woman and more masculine on a man, if that makes sense, with their natural pheromones or whatever it is. I could still smell it on me for a good few hours, but then it does eventually fade and you can't smell it anymore, but it is a really nice smell. In my normal routine before trying this, I use the normal Imperial Leather Foam Burst, and then I would use the Nivea In Body Moisturizer. I don't need to use the Nivea after using this. When I come out the shower, having just used this, my skin is as soft as using the shower gel and the Nivea. So even though this is a bit more pricey than the normal foam burst, I'm going to save money because I probably don't need to purchase the Nivea anymore. And to be honest, as of late, I've noticed that the Nivea is kind of creeping up in price. I used to be able to get the bottle of it for £1.99, and the last time I think I purchased it, it was like £3.49. They also, I believe, discontinued the honey scent, which was my preferred scent. They now only have the cocoa butter and the blue one, which is for dry skin. Both scents are okay, but I'm not as keen on them, so I am literally buying them for the moisturisation of it. I'm not buying it because I like the smell of it. So I think what I'm probably going to do, I've been kind of gradually cutting out the Nivea anyway, is I think once I've finished the bottle that I'm on, I don't think I have purchased a backup of it. I think I'm just going to stop using it and just keep using this. Obviously, if I do feel like my skin gets drier, I will probably pull it back in or pull some sort of moisturiser in, but I just love this kind of 2 steps in one now. The consistency of it is very different to the foam burst. The foam burst is, as I've said, it's like a shaving foam. It is very foaming, whereas this is kind of a mix between like squirty cream and shaving foam, a weird consistency. It does come out very cream-like at first, but then it does go a bit more solid formed. Not solid formed. God, I'm bad at describing things. But it is like the foam burst, just slightly more fluffy, as it were. But really like the consistency. So you can see from the bubbles there, it is more aerated and things. But really nice shower gel, and very happy to have now got a new staple shower gel. This video is turning out a lot longer than I thought. So now finally we are at the end of my top 5, bottom 5, and my number 1 top item that I received from Glossybox is this Huda Beauty liquid lipstick. I got this in the shade Venus, and it was the first liquid lipstick I had tried from Huda Beauty. I had actually been dying to try one of their lipsticks, but because I had so many in my collection, I couldn't justify the £18, I believe it is, price tag. At that time I was considering signing back up to Glossybox, and when I seen this was a sneak peek for their November box, I thought it was worth it to pay £10 for the box, might get some other things that I like, and then I'll have one of these to try. I can't remember if I liked anything else that was in that box, but this more than paid for the value of the box, and I've stayed subscribed anyway, and as you've seen I've had a few things that I've liked, but really love this formula. It is slightly thinner of a formula compared to other ones that I have. That does mean it's not as drying. It is super comfortable to wear. It's not as long lasting as some of the liquid lipsticks that I have, but I don't mind because it fades gradually. It's not very obvious when it fades at all. That could obviously be down to the shade of it as well, because it is a very neutral shade. But show you a swatch. It's a nice nudie brown, but not too brown, because I sometimes don't like the shades too dark. I have on numerous occasions gone to purchase many more of these because I do now love this formula, and I would probably say it's in my top 10 liquid lipstick formula, if not my top 5. But it's just the price tag, and say I've got so many more. Once I've got through some of the lipsticks that I have, I would definitely consider purchasing another one. I've had my eye on the shade, I think it's Wifey, which I think is more of a pinky mauve shade than this one. I really like the applicator as well because it's quite a small doe foot for precision application. Really do enjoy using it, and I'm so glad that this made me sign back up to Glossybox, because I have had some hits over the last few months. So that's it for my top 5, bottom 5 of the items I've received from Glossybox. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. Thanks!